We'll see how he feels.
Hey, welcome to Battleground Believers. So thankful that you're part of this audience. We want to remind you that we're on all kinds of streaming sites. YouTube, Spotify. See, this is not scripted, you can tell.
Come on, Brad.
Apple Music, all kinds of streaming sites. We do have a TikTok and a Facebook page and an email address at battlegroundbelievers at gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to us. We really enjoy the interaction. We have people comment and talk to us, and that's probably one of our favorite parts. But thank you so much for being a part of the audience. Again, so thankful for the 2 Bar Blues. The S is on blues, not on bars. 2 Bar Blues Studio, and Randy for being our producer and taking care of us and making us look oh so beautiful. And I missed the table. The last one I shot, I watched and I thought, whew, I missed that table. It used to be here and it used to block all my fat. But anyway, again, back in studio, Aaron Replogel. He was here last week and had a really good story. It kept me on the edge of my seat waiting to hear what happened. But he's back, and he's going to continue to tell his story through your story. And when we left, your beautiful daughter was just born and went through some serious surgeries. But it came to a point where it's time to move from Maryland back to Indiana, and that's where we left off. And so we're going to pick up and let you continue the story from there. So, go ahead, Aaron.
Thanks, Brad. Okay, so when we left Maryland, left a lot of good people that I hope to see again. Some of them I have seen, but a lot of good people, by the way. And some of those relationships are very strong and still going on today. Thank God. But so I got a job at the largest landlocked naval base in the world, I believe it is.
I didn't know they had a landlocked naval base.
Yeah, Crane, Indiana, 45 minutes southish of Bloomington, Indiana, is this place called the place I worked at was called Naval Surface Warfare Center Crane. I believe the base is just called like Crane. They have an Army outfit there.
I literally drive by that almost every Sunday night and Monday on that dog run that I do. And I never knew what it even was. Like, it just says Crane that way.
Yeah.
It's got big air.
Yeah, Crane, Indiana is a little small town outside of base on the west side.
Never knew that's what it was.
You're that far south in Indiana?
It's the largest Navy base that's landlocked in the world, I'm pretty sure. Definitely the country, most likely the world.
I just never knew that's what it was.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
I mean, there's a lot of traffic that goes there in the morning, so...
People going to work for the DOD. And that's what I did there. And, we got a really beautiful home. It's one of our favorites. And our daughter was young, and I met good people in a church there. And I even got clean on alcohol for a time, several months. And I looked good, like I started running again. Didn't last super long. And so...
Was gambling still involved during this time?
Not as much. I went through spurts where I didn't do that as much. Mm-hmm. When I got hooked up with some good people there that helped me out, took me to church, cared for me, I was able to put some of that behind for a while, which was great.
Nice.
And, my wife, she was in childcare for a family that we had a good relationship with, and but again, we didn't really get plugged in. I wasn't spiritually or emotionally mature yet. I just wasn't. And I'm still not today, but whatever. We're getting there, right? So
we're work in progress.
It's a process. Yeah. That's right. And so what happened is basically that I got jaded at work and decided I would take this job with Harris Corporation in Florida. And so my wife's like, okay, let's move to Florida. So we got a beautiful house with an acre, palm trees and grass and a beautiful pool and a what do they call it? Like a cage, like a mesh cage, so the gators and the lizards can't get in.
Yeah, it's called a lanai. I learned that from HDTV.
Oh, that might be true.
That's what it's called. It's called an eye.
So the little lizards got in anyway,
Yeah.
and the dog would chase them and eventually,
Yeah.
occasionally get one, and my wife was like, oh. But I remember that our daughter, our beautiful little girl, loved to, there was a little, like, shallow area, just like a pad on the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd stand in that. She wouldn't get in the water too much, but she'd stand on that pad and wade in, and just, she had this little sun hat. And great stuff.
This place sounds amazing.
It was. Oh, yeah. The real estate went up a lot, too, since we sold it. But
Oh,
anyway.
yeah, I guarantee.
Anyhow. This was the time, we were only there a year, and this was the time that my wife decided she wanted to go to school. And would you believe it? I think she had already kind of decided she wanted to go for cardiac echo, which is the very process that helped us learn about Scarlett's heart anatomy in time for her to, for us to know and get to the right place so she could be born in a safe, kind of environment and ready for the things, like the emergency C and the surgery. So Vicky decided, I'm not sure exactly when, but she started taking classes around 2014 when we were in Florida, and at Kaiser, I remember.
That's the name of a college?
Yes.
Kaiser. I never heard
Kaiser
of it.
University, I believe it's called. She took some online courses there, and she was working for a family, beautiful little child hanging out with ours, and they had some good times and pool dates and all that. And
did you guys connect in any churches in Florida?
not really. The blessing for that time was that we had family in Florida, and we got to see them. I got to see my mom's father, so my grampy. I believe it was that year. And I didn't know how important it was at the time, but it was important.
Was he a believer?
Oh, we could talk he wrote a book. It's on my desk at home, on my table in my office that I sit at in the mornings when I light the candle and read. It's called His Desire. It's a book. His name's Jim Hubble. It's a book that you can actually buy on Amazon, by the way. His Desire by James W. Hubble. Maybe it's Jim W. Hubble. You have to check. But it's like the Holy Spirit through my grandfather talking about how Solomon through the Song of Songs is talking about Christ. Christ and the church, his bride. So, or what all of that actually means according to the Holy Spirit through my grandfather. And so that was 2014, kind of same thing. I was caught up in self. I felt like the company wasn't treating me well, and they weren't treating engineers well, and all this. So I'm like, okay, honey, I want to quit. And she's like, oh God. At this point, she's like, what? Oh God, really? Probably, right? Like, what's happening? What's my husband doing? Where are we going next?
Yeah.
And she's not wrong. So I took a job with the United States Geological Survey, and when I met the manager there, I'll never forget. I can see the place we were in. It was this little shop at the falls in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They have this little house where you go and you can get coffee and stuff, and it's like part of the park area when you go to see the falls themselves. We were sitting in there, and he had bought me lunch because we were talking, in context of the job, right? And I told him, I was like, we really feel like at this point we want to get back to Indiana, And he's like, okay. And I remember him saying, give me 2 years. And I said, okay. In the context of maybe we could work something out to where I could work from home after a time. So I took the job in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It was like sort of like a systems engineering, IPT leadership type role for the Landsat 9 ground systems.
So you moved from Florida, now you're moving to Sioux Falls, Idaho.
And everywhere.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
South Dakota, Idaho. Sioux Falls.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
My geography is way off.
Yeah, it's out west in the plains, but yeah. So we now, looking back, a lot of great people in this place, and they helped me through more than they even know. One of the engineers there that I became close friends with, who mentored me at work as well, during the time we were there, ended up coming down with severe brain cancer and ended up passing away. That was tough. That one was really hard. Like, such a beautiful life. Why? Why, God? Why?
Mm-hmm.
And he had such an impact on so many lives there, and still does today. He has an impact on me, and I often think of him and his family. He's from Alaska. And so watching him work and be kind of taught me a lot about what leadership really is,
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've even gotten phone calls and advice from some of the guys there who are in leadership roles that, they kind of train me up a little bit, like, hey, Aaron, if you're going into an interview, here's maybe how you should approach it, kind of thing. And that kind of advice from a guy like that,
Mm-hmm.
can't put a price on that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the man is already working overtime, and he took half an hour, 40 minutes just to talk to me on the phone. So that's the kind of people they are, and it shows, and so, similar story, we had this is around the time, this has been 2016, my wife got pregnant with our second child, and I was still kind of me, still doing the alcohol thing enough, and I got scared, I got antsy, right, like, probably, I don't really know, but maybe we're having another kid, kind of got scared, hey, I really do want to go home, and I pushed really hard, harder than probably any man should ever go to his boss and push, and I did, and he finally, one day we were sitting in my office at work. I had a walled office in this place, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. Didn't deserve one, but I did have one. And he got up out of the chair in my office, went outside, walked to the other end of the building into the office of the guy who is in charge of, like, the contractor side of it, like the government and the contractor side,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it took very long. I heard back from them within a day saying, yeah, you can work with us and you can go work from home. And I was like, okay. And so called my mom, called my dad. Yep, we're moving back to Indiana. So this is now summer of 2016. We got into the house in Wakarusa. I don't think it was very, very long before the second daughter was born. She was born at Memorial in South Bend, C-section, but not emergency. Again, what a blessing, how good is God. And she weighed a little bit more, her heart's all good, like the anatomies. She's, her middle name is Joy, and it's apt. She's so bright. She's such a blessing. They both are, both my daughters. And
sounds like the Lord was with you this whole time.
Without a doubt. And that's really what I want people watching this to get from it, is even when I didn't know or believe, or I was angry, or I thought he was gone, that's not the truth. Truth is,
man, forgive me.
he carried me through this time. If you've never heard of Footprints in the Sand, it's one of my favorite poems. It talks literally about that very thing, and And so, yeah, I worked from home. I set up a bar in the basement. I got bourbon when I could. I would have a few beers and watch TV before I went to bed. In the evenings, my wife would make me breakfast, and I'd sit in the basement and work.
Excuse me, man.
From home, and she, had a new baby, and she decided to go to school for real. So she was driving to like an hour plus away to Newcastle area for school.
Oh.
What was it? Saint something, I think. I forget the name of the school. But she was going to school for echocardiography, cardiac echo. So she was doing that and taking care of the kids, and actually her sister came over and helped take care of the kids some. But I was doing the poker thing. I'd go out to the casino, hang out with my buddies, look for excuses to drink.
Mm-hmm.
I did those things. And so, family was close by. That helped. We had some good times. There was a Halloween where I dressed up as Harambe, and my brother-in-law was the zookeeper with the
ape that got killed
with the rifle. Oh yeah,
okay.
It was a mercy killing, my brother says, and oh, good old Harambe. And anyway, we were walking down the street, so I'm dressed up like an ape, and he's got the zookeeper hat and the BB gun, the fake gun, And there was this one young kid at a house we were getting candy from. Oh, and I forget what he said, but it was such an epic reaction. He said something, and then he just started clapping, Like, it was worth it for us to do this and be idiots and dress up. This kid got such a kick out of it. Oh, it was fun. And there's a YouTube video somewhere maybe we could dig up, but good times.
No,
anyway,
I'll look for that later.
Yeah, well, we could maybe send you a link for that. But yeah. So around summer, like spring 2018. So we'd been there roughly 2 years, not quite, And I got a notification or a message from my boss at work, like, hey. They were having trouble. They weren't, it wasn't working out great. I was doing okay, but they didn't love having me fully remote. And they kind of said, hey, not sure how much longer you can work with us fully remote. So I'm like, okay. So I ended up getting a job in Fort Wayne at Raytheon.
Mm-hmm.
And that took us to Fort Wayne. And it was around that time that my wife had completed her schooling. And we got a house in a neighborhood called Bridgewater, southwest Fort Wayne, not far from the Whitley County line, not far from the chapel.
I go in Bridgewater. My job, I have to go. I've been in there many times.
Okay, so yeah, we were actually at 2411 Stonebriar Road, right there off Stonebriar.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful property on the pond, nice fence, wonderful place, right? Beautiful. And we had great neighbors there. I could go into so much depth about that. Really good neighbors there. I had the full range, right? I had a good example of what a father and husband should be. I had a wise older man who would literally take care of me, let me come into his house and do whatever I do, would sit and talk with me. And I had another good example of a father who loved his family so much and was willing to just be. Let me into his house and just be. And we had such good talks. I mean, oh man. With all three of these guys. And I didn't know at the time how important it was, but that's how God carried me through that time.
Were they men of faith, or was that not really the discussion, or?
I think they are. In their own way. Yeah, and I think that, well, yeah, and so one of them has already started helping with the ministry stuff. He bought me this this beautiful drawing, like a replica drawing from a famous artist of an eagle, because I'm a big eagle guy, and you'll learn that more as we talk. But so yeah, just a great group of neighbors. And then I didn't even mention another neighbor next door who was like a father figure to me, So a lot of family close by, didn't have the same last name. They weren't blood relatives, but they treated me like family, And it mattered. It helped a lot because I didn't have that. Like, I need that. I wasn't close enough with the Lord to be able to maybe walk a little bit without it, And so that's how he decided to provide me family at the time. And of course, I had my real family too. They were an hour and a half away, and they were there enough, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So we were there. I was working for Raytheon. My wife she had got into Parkview, into the cardiac echo department there, and things were okay. I was doing well. I was drinking a lot less. I'm bipolar, by the way, so I was I mentioned psychiatrist, but I was speaking with the psychiatrist. I was on the medication. Everything was cool, right? Things were going well at work. I'm getting, hey, good job. Here's a bonus. Like, we like what you're doing here. So right around the time that COVID hit, Raytheon Corporation, Raytheon's a big defense contractor, and they had a big merger going on with United Technologies. Both multi-billion-dollar corporations, huge merger, and we start to hear about it, right? And eventually we start to hear that because United Technologies has, I think it was called Rockwell Collins at the time, eventually became Collins Aerospace. It's a big radio developer for like defense, like military applications primarily. Raytheon had one too, largely based in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And the government was like, hey guys, we can't have both.
Yeah.
So when the merger happened, Raytheon was required to divest, and they chose to divest the airborne radio group at Fort Wayne. It was primarily housed in Fort Wayne. And so part of that decision was that 100 engineers were going to go with the business. Because they had to make a statement, right? They had to show that they were following what the law was. The laydown of the federal government was like, yeah, you got to do this. So we were told we had a job, at the new company, which ended up being BAE Systems, and they built a beautiful facility that's still in Fort Wayne. BAE bought the radio group, and we were told, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can take this job at BAE, or, if you want to come back to Raytheon in the future, that's fine, just not for a year. And so COVID had hit basically right at the same time. And oh man. So it hit me hard. So
you got COVID?
Well, no, just the whole thing, everything happening, the isolation, the fear, the worry.
Yeah.
And so I was isolated. I had to work from home. It was a new job. It was a technically difficult job. I just completely lost it. Overly stressed out, could barely function, couldn't do the job at work very well. Would reach out to my wife via phone call multiple times a day, crying out for help. The doctor started to take me off medication, started to mix and match and change way too soon. It was a complete mess. Like, my wife has a journal she was writing in to try to talk about how she would help me or what may have helped. But we came to find out later that I had thought that I had like a little bit of tremor. And so I had told the doctor, and we had agreed that maybe the lithium was causing it. And lithium is what I now know to be a gold standard for someone who's like a bipolar 1 type, manic type. But I was off lithium for I ended up being off it for like 4 years. And you'll hear as we get into more of the story that that was a big deal. That was a big deal. But so anyway, during this time, I was a complete mess. I ended up having to. I went on short-term disability for mental emotional health reasons. I was able to drag it out. There was a guy at work who basically held my hand through that year, and he doesn't maybe know. He knows. He knows. But he doesn't know how much of a blessing to my life he was, because I was able to draw that salary another year because he literally held my hand via instant message to
keep you on task and keep.
Well, he did the engineering.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. He did the engineering, and I was able to do just enough to keep my job for a time. But it was around June of 2021 that I finally decided I had to give it up. Like, I went to them and I was like, "Hey guys, can I have less hours? Like, what can we do? Like, I can't handle it." And they weren't able to. They had a requirement, they needed a guy there 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so they couldn't do it, and I just had to resign. I couldn't continue.
No, I totally understand that, and we are running out of time for this episode, so we're going to kind of wind down right there on this point, and then when we come back, the next time you're here, we're going to talk about where you went from there. Okay. Again, thank you so much for being part of the audience. We really do appreciate you guys, and if you like our stuff, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Does a lot for the channel. We consider this a ministry. We're not trying to get famous. We're trying to build a ministry here, and hopefully serve the Lord through this. And we thank you again. Thank you, Aaron, so much, and being willing to open up and being vulnerable and share, things in your life. Means a lot, because there's somebody out there that's going through the same thing you are, and is going to hear the success side of this story at some point and say, "Hey, if Aaron can make it, I can make it. If Matt can make it, I can make it."
Amen, brother.
So, again, thank you so much for being here. Remember, all that call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Battleground Believers, out.